You're such a scoffer.
Why does everybody have to be so mean? Corvo wouldn't have to kill everyone if people were just nicer. Good morning, everybody. We are back with another new I Did Everything video looking at this brand new title from 2012. You know how every 3 months one of those things goes viral on Twitter where people are marking out what games they've played from the list of classics? Well, I haven't played most of those, but today we can knock one of those games people always talk about loving off the list. In this video, we're going to cover getting all 50 of the achievements featured in Dishonored's base story, and as I'm recording this intro, I'm also working on knocking out Dishonored's 3 DLC packs to be put into a future video in the next couple of weeks. I hope you enjoy doing everything in this certified classic. We're playing as a guy named Corvo Atano, who is hopping off a boat at LAX to be reunited with the Empress of Dunwall, Jessamine Caldwin. There's been a terrible plague going around the Empire, and as we serve as the Empress's right-hand man, we were sent to inquire with neighboring regions to see if anyone has a cure, but to no luck. We check out this guy's fancy footwork and we're on our way. On our way to meet with the Empress, we get stopped by her daughter Emily to play a game of hide and seek. I hide, but it seems to bug out and she never actually starts seeking. This is a bit of a bad look, but honestly there weren't many other bugs than this start here. Back to the main plot, we once again get interrupted by the most obvious villain of all time. I mean, look at this guy and tell me he isn't a big bad. We finally deliver our letter to the Empress, and it confirms that none of the places we visited are going to be able to help us. Up to this point, the Empress has been determined to save as many people as she can, but as she ponders next steps, we get rudely interrupted by some guys that have some sort of teleportation magic coming to attack us. We take out as many of the attackers as we can until we get pinned in the air and the Empress is killed and Emily is stolen away. The other guards rush to our aid, but for some reason they were all sent away and have only now returned to see us with the dead Empress and Emily missing. What a conundrum. We awake and find that we've been placed in prison. Surprise, surprise, the evil-looking guy from earlier is here and gets caught monologuing when he admits that it was his plot to take out the Empress to assume her role along with a couple of his buddies. No harm in them telling us this plot though, because we're set to be executed tomorrow, and surely that will go off without a hitch. Oh wait, in our cell we get delivered a note from an anonymous source with a key to break out and some plans to escape into the sewers. Neat. So we do just that, the perfect plan to slip out unnoticed, and I messed it up. I knew coming in that this was a stealth game, but my first trip through I didn't really respect that method as much as I should have. We'll have to save the no-kill run for later on, I guess. They give you a gun for a reason, right? You may as well use it. We plant a bomb to bust our way out, jump into a river, and escape into the sewers. In the sewers, we learn rats are dangerous. It is the plague, after all. And as we keep exploring, we also learn that there are already a lot of royal guards after us, something we'll need to get used to. When we get out, we meet with a boatman named Samuel, who will be our ride to all of our cool missions throughout the game. Our end-of-map report shows we won't be getting any pacifist achievements anytime soon, but at least we get our first achievement when we arrive to our base of operations, the Hound Pits pub. We walk into a bar and meet Trevor Pendleton and Admiral Havelock, two of the loyalists who are interested in finding Lady Emily Caldwin and returning her to her place on the throne. Surely these gentlemen won't betray us. We also meet a little guy named Piero who will serve as our main shopkeeper. He gives us a cool mask that will give us a little bit of anonymity when we go out. After that we go to bed, but when we wake up we're in some sort of weird dreamscape. In this void area we meet a guy named the Outsider. He burns his insignia into our hand, which gives us access to all of his abilities, which are quite a lot. We don't really know his motives, but it seems encouraging. Also, fun fact, part of me not knowing anything about Dishonored is that I had no idea this game had these supernatural powers until right here. They do add a ton to what is possible and make the game super fun though. The most basic powers we use are a dash move that lets you teleport around, which is where a lot of the game's best moments come from, and a heart that lets you see different items through walls, mostly the currency that you use to improve your powers. There are a ton of powers we'll be able to mess with a little later, but I stay pretty bare bones for most of the game. Another feature of this game are bone charms, little upgrade items that you can find throughout the world that are randomly distributed. They're cool, but don't give you that much, but we do earn the achievement Occultist for grabbing 10 of them. After that, we meet with Havelock to get our first quest. The acting High Overseer is a guy named Campbell who is first on our hit list. He has a book on him with Emily's location that we want to recover. There's also another loyalist named Martin being held prisoner. He was instrumental in our breakout and he got caught, so it's time to repay the favor. And we get stopped by another person working for the loyalists, Callista. She asks us to go help her uncle out while we're in the Overseer's base as well. She suspects he's going to be poisoned because he's the head of the guard, so we need to keep an eye out for that. But before anybody else can give us any more tasks, we head over to Samuel and ask him to take us into the city. As Samuel cruises us into the distillery district, he tells us we'll be hopping out on Clavering Boulevard, which is infested with plague victims, guards, and their walls of light, which will be a huge obstacle for us to get around. As we start exploring, we find our first friendly face, a woman named Granny Rags. She's a poor old woman being harassed by some local hooligans, so we deal with those for her. For getting that chore done, she offers us a cool trinket, one of those power upgrade items, and for an old woman, she moves pretty fast, appearing right behind us. We did such good work there, she has another little task for us. Just breaking into the local doctor's office, stealing some diseased flesh, and dropping it off in the distillery of a local street gang. It seems a little harsh, but I just feel like Granny would never steer us wrong. So we break into the office, steal some guts, and throw them in the distillery, in exchange for another cool little bauble. Neat. With that out of the way, we can get back to the main quest by trying to maneuver our way through and around the local guards. A huge thing to learn with this game is almost always there are several ways to accomplish your goals, so it's good to look for alternative pathways. After making it a little deeper into the level, we find that Martin guy Havelock told us to help escape. We know that he's a real big target because he has a single guard watching him. Don't mess with this guy. We take out that guard and let Martin escape back to the base. I hadn't grasped the multiple ways to play concept yet, so instead of creeping into the big government keep, we used the most stealthy option of all, straight through the front door. While exploring, we find a book with branding instructions that you can use to non-lethally remove a High Overseer. There's going to be a lot of these throughout all of the levels, and they'll be useful in the future, but not really part of our flow right now. Once we finally get into the High Overseer's chambers, we find that he is meeting with Captain Kurnow, and Callisto is right. He is planning to poison him. So we switch the two glasses that were conveniently set out, and we hide around the corner and watch as the Overseer drinks his own poison, and we earn the achievement Excommunication for eliminating him. Hey, I've seen this one before. When the guards come in, they think Kurnow killed the Overseer, so now he flees out of the building while guards chase him. Good times. Kurnow escapes and we earn the achievement Bodyguard, but we also get the benefit of using his distraction to make our own escape. On our way out of the level, we earn the achievement Razor Rain for killing 5 characters with a drop assassination, and we immediately after that earn the achievement Rogue for assassinating 10 unaware enemies before we meet with Samuel and head back to the base. We head to bed, and the next morning we find that Martin has successfully made his way back and the boys have had time to come up with the next mission for us. According to the Overseer's book, Emily is being held at a brothel called the Golden Cat, so we need to break in and rescue her. We also get a mission from Lord Pendleton. His brothers are frequent guests at the Golden Cat, and he needs them eliminated so he can have full control of his family's voting power in Parliament to resist the Lord Regent. So this time when Samuel pulls the boat up, I make the realization this game does something really cool that you don't see very often. The choices you make have an impact on future levels, i.e. the more you kill, the more the plague will spread in future levels and the hazard will increase. But also the first 2 levels take place on the same street area, so you can very clearly see some differences between level 2 and 3, and that is just super sick. You don't see that very much. And it's only 2 levels, so it's not like it's gonna get boring coming here all the time. We go to visit Granny Rags, but it seems like she's moved away. How sad. But there is a new quest giver we can meet with. Slackjaw is the leader of the Bottle Street Gang and the owner of that distillery we poisoned, but he doesn't know that that was us, so it's all cool. He offers us an easier method of getting into the Golden Cat if we complete a mission for him, breaking into the local doctor's office to investigate one of his missing crew members. We already know how to do that, so we go investigate, and when we return, Slackjaw gives us a key that we can use to get into a nearby hotel, granting easy access to the Golden Cat. He also offers to non-lethally eliminate the Pendleton brothers for us, but again, we aren't in a very non-lethal mood in this run. But when you have access to a special entrance into a mission, you may as well use it, right? We use that special rooftop access to slip inside the Golden Cat with relatively little difficulty. We grab the key off of the owner to have easy access throughout the building, and we're actually able to track Emily down with relative ease. This seemed kind of weird to break in and basically walk right to her, but I guess it makes sense all the people who were supposed to be watching out were distracted by something in this brothel. We earn the achievement Childcare for rescuing Emily, and we send Emily out onto the plague-ridden streets to meet back up with Samuel. Nothing can go wrong there. So now we turn our attention to the Pendletons. One is chilling in the basement steam room, which makes him an easy mark for earning the achievement An Unfortunate Accident. And we deal with the other Pendleton the old-fashioned way before we make it back to Samuel, and actually Emily made it fine. So we return to the pub, and we earn the achievement Faceless for never alerting anyone during this mission, which seems incorrect based on all the things we did, but hey, I'll take it. Unfortunately, we don't have any time to rest. When we return to the base, Havelock and Martin inform us the next step is to find the Lord Regent's mistress, but to do that, we first need to capture the royal physician to obtain her identity, so we're going back out onto another mission on the same day. It's crazy how fast this game takes place. So we head off to Caldwin's Bridge. This level doesn't have any cool quest givers, but we do get to take a ride on a little minecart and lower a drawbridge before we finally make our way into the royal physician's manor. We turn some of the physician's tech against him, hacking one of the walls of light to vaporize enemies instead of us, which allows us to get the achievement Wall of Sparks. After that, we not so subtly knock out the physician himself and carry him down to Samuel, where we earn the achievement Capturing Genius and Madness. When we get back, we meet with Piero and buy some upgrades that will hopefully make us a little stealthier in the future, and that earns us the achievement Merchant of Disorder for acquiring 15 equipment upgrades. Even with Sokolov trapped in a cage, he doesn't want to cooperate and tell us who the Lord Regent's mistress is, so we do a little threatening with some rats until he tells us it's a woman named Lady Boyle. Except there's a problem, because of course there is. There are 3 Lady Boyles, and he doesn't know which one it actually is. But conveniently, the Boyles are hosting a masked ball at their manor this evening, and we just so happen to wear a cool mask anyway that will get the job done. So we need to break into the party and figure out which Boyle is the correct target and eliminate her. So for the first time, we're in a mission and not being attacked by nearly everyone in sight, and this was actually one of my favorite missions in the game. It's just different from everything else we've done so far while maintaining the mission-based stealth elements. An unfortunate issue is the Boyle sisters are hosting a party game where they are all in disguise and guests are trying to guess who is who, which adds another wrench in our plans. It's easy enough to find the Boyles, but figuring out the correct target is more of a problem. So we need to break in upstairs and search through the 3 sisters' rooms to find the correct target. This is randomized for each playthrough, so it is a little interesting to go through each one. This is also the first mission where we take the non-lethal elimination option, but it may actually be a worse fate, funny enough. This guy approaches us and tells us our target is Waverly Boyle, the woman he loves, and he knows we're there to assassinate her. But if we can lure her into the basement, he'll take her far away and there's no need to kill her. And with a face like he has, he must be a trustworthy guy. We convince Waverly to walk with us down into the basement and deliver her right to our guy, who sails away. I'm sure they'll make a nice couple. With our target neutralized, we make our way back to Samuel and earn the Well-Mannered achievement for getting in and out without spoiling the party. A stealth achievement, wow! We return to the pub and find Emily has really improved her hide-and-seek game to the point she literally became the floor. We also meet with Havelock and Martin, who inform us it's time for our final push against the Lord Regent. He's lost the support of the military, his mistress, his lead scientist, and he has consolidated everyone he has left to guard him in his royal tower. So we know exactly where he is, and we can finally make a move against the man who caused all of this in the first place. So it's time for us to approach the palace from the same waterlock we entered into at the beginning of the game. This game is so short, but it really does make this feel pretty epic. Obviously I didn't know this coming in, but the non-lethal method for this level is so much easier than the slow taking out as many guards as possible method I went for. I will say one benefit of doing your high chaos run first though is that you do get a very good sense of what your options are when you do a stealth playthrough. Once we make our way inside Dunwall Tower and fight our way through a load of guards, we learn that the Lord Regent is hiding out on the rooftop. So we head up to the roof to eliminate the final few guards before we finally come into contact with the Lord himself. We show him who it is that has come all this way to take him out, but for some reason he still thinks he has a chance against us. Of course that won't stand though, so we kill him and earn the Regicide achievement. We make a trip back to Samuel and we're ready to head back and party. We raise a glass to freedom with the boys and learn the plans of what's going to happen now. Lady Emily will take the throne and pardon the loyalists of all the crimes committed in returning her to the throne. Havelock will oversee the military, Martin will oversee the overseers, and Lord Pendleton will oversee the parliament. That's all well and good, but there doesn't seem to be a spot carved out for old Corvo. As we make it up the stairs, we fall over with a green tent to the screen. Classic night out with the boys. We briefly come to and realize why there was no spot for us. The Loyalists have betrayed us now that we've got all of their dirty work done for them. What a shocker. They plan to continue their rise to power by bringing our corpse and Lady Emily to show they've managed to kill us and rescue her. But luckily for us, they couldn't even handle the poisoning themselves. They had our buddy Samuel do it, and he only gave us half a dose, so we'll be alright. Samuel puts our very slightly lifeful corpse out on a boat that floats its way into the flooded district. Here we get found by some assassins who look suspiciously like those guys we fought away at the beginning of the game. The leader of these assassins is a guy named Dowd. The extremely observant would recognize him as the guy who killed the Empress at the start of the game. He throws our gear down into a hole and locks us in the worst prison of all time, so naturally we have to break out and take revenge. Our gear is missing, but we still have our powers, which we use to take out some of the assassins, earning the achievement Food Chain. We travel a pretty long way to recover our gear and earn the achievement This Is Mine, before we fight our way through the flooded district. This is one of the more difficult areas. These assassins have some pretty cool moves, but we make it into the heart of Dowd's base. When we make it into Dowd's chambers, we have a few options. We could get close and pickpocket him, showing that we're a master assassin and he's no match for us. Or we could, we just shoot him with a crossbow and he doesn't lock on to fight us. When we come outside, Dowd begs us for his life, giving us another choice. He wishes he could take back killing the Empress and he just wants to disappear, but this is high chaos, so bye-bye Dowd. Now, with Dowd's key in hand, we can break into the sewer and head back to the base. As we walk through the sewer, we find one of Slackjaw's boys who tells us we need a key to get any further, and the way to get it is to head down an alternate path, and he makes it seem like some sort of monster is over there, so we prepare for a big fight. But when we get down to the end, it's no monster at all, it's just Granny Rags. I've missed her so much. She has Slackjaw locked up, and she wants our help to turn him into a nice soup. Of course, we can't say no to her, so we help her out and earn the achievement Gentleman Caller for finishing all of the Granny Rags side missions. It's a shame we won't see her again. We use the key we found to continue through the sewer before eventually coming out back at the Hound Pit's pub. When we come back, we learn that the Loyalist leaders took to finishing off all of the other assistants as well, killing everyone that would have inside knowledge about what they had done. They've also absolutely swarmed the streets with guards, so it's not as safe for us to run around as it once was. The three leaders have all run off, but luckily for us, Piero and Sokolov managed to hide out in the lab and have cooked up a plot to incapacitate all of the guards so we can move around a little easier. We head to the roof to fire that bad boy up, and now we'll have a much easier time trying to figure out our next steps. We find a letter telling us that there's a flare launcher set up we can use to contact Samuel that will be the signal he needs to come pick us up, and we can use it to go to the final confrontation. They had a nice little plan going. We set off the Samuel signal and go meet with him to head to King Sparrow Island where the final mission will be. We also earn the achievement Spectre for finishing a mission without being detected and killing less than 5 people, and according to the stats, that's definitely not true, but again, we'll take it, we did it later anyway. As we approach the island, Samuel's keen eye tells us that it seems like the Loyalist leaders have begun fighting each other over Emily. And it seems like Havelock has won, locking himself up at the very top, so you know that's where we're headed. This is another mission you can finish extremely quickly if you know what you're doing, but we struggled a little bit to even get inside. Eventually we managed to avoid some guards when we spot a side entrance that will give us a much quicker trip inside though. When we get inside the keep, we find that Martin is slightly above ground level and Lord Pendleton is on a level above that. It takes a little bit of maneuvering to get to either of them though with the number of guards around. We take out some of those pesky guards before we make our way around and take out Martin first. It felt kind of weird he didn't get any dialogue at all here, but I guess it was a stealth kill. An achievement or something, maybe? I guess you get the end of game achievements in a minute though, so it's not a super big deal. When we make our way up to Lord Pendleton, we see that he was already hit by a stray bullet and is basically dead already, but that doesn't make for a thrilling end to my story, so oops, you're stabbed. I didn't really need to take those two out, but for completion's sake, why not? But with them out of the way, we can take the lighthouse lift up and have our final showdown with Havelock. When we reach the top of the lighthouse, we find Havelock is dangling Emily over the edge. This is a result of us going the pure chaos route, and apparently if I waited too long, he would have dropped her. We don't have to worry about that because we sprung right into action, grabbing the Long Live the Empress achievement for rescuing Emily, and resolution for beating the game. So now Emily ascends to the throne, and we're at her side as the Royal Guard. This is definitely the darkest ending, and it feels kinda bad, but at least we got it out of the way and we can move on to the lighter endings now. When we reach the end of the final cutscene, we earn the achievement Dunwall in Chaos for our high chaos success. So now we're at 21 out of 50 achievements, and we obviously have a lot more to do. Our first stop is to do as many miscellaneous achievements as we can from the high chaos save, and then we'll step back and do 2 more individual runs to knock out the remaining achievements, so let's get right into it. Achievement 22 is called Thief for stealing a total of 200 coins off of people, so we go to the party full of rich people and knock it out pretty quickly. Our next achievement, Cleaner, is for aggroing and killing 5 enemies, and then the Escapist is for aggroing 5 enemies and running away. The next one is a combo, where we travel 30 meters in less than a second for Speed of Darkness, and Big Boy for killing a tall boy with a sword. After a little bit of manipulation, we earn the achievement Manipulator by making enemies kill their allies 5 times. We also abuse the slowdown time power to line up 4 crossbow kills that all go off in 1 second, earning the achievement Hornet's Nest. We sneak around King Sparrow Island hacking different devices until we earn the Lights Out achievement, and then we continue farming the large groups of enemies to earn the Versatile achievement by using every weapon in the game. We take a little sightseeing tour, traveling up to the top of Caldwin's Bridge to earn King of the World. The next achievement is kinda cool as well. We once again abuse the time freeze power to kill 6 enemies in less than a second. Setting this one up was pretty fun. Whew, okay, that was a lot of basically just reading off the achievements of Dishonored, but we're back in it now. We can finally start working on the full stealth 0 kill run, and this was a whole lot of fun. Obviously, we start a new game and begin with busting out of prison to earn the achievement Vanished, but apparently someone was killed along the way. This is a pretty common occurrence where you knock someone out and then rats come and kill them and you get given the kill, but, you know, it is what it is, so we start over and do it right. When we get back to Samuel the next time, we did it right. Pog. We non-lethal the second mission with no issues before we take a break to mess around with some of the extra runes we have. We didn't buy Animal Possession in the first playthrough, but we use it to take control of a fish to earn the achievement Alive Without Breath, Creepy Crawly for taking control of a rat and entering a tunnel, and Inhabitant for staying in that rat tunnel for 3 minutes. On the mission at the Golden Cat, where Slackjaw offered to take out the Pendleton twins for us, he wanted us to get the combination for a safe loaded down with goodies for him. In this playthrough, we did just that, but we grabbed the loot for ourselves before giving him the code, which earned the achievement The Art of the Steal. On the next mission, Kidnapping Sokolov, we earned the achievement Surgical for playing through to this point of the game killing fewer than 10 people. We have another successful intrusion in the Boyle family party, but no achievement since we already got this one earlier. Another combo! On the level where we traveled up to the roof to take out the Lord Regent, there's actually a much easier way. You can grab a recording he keeps in his safe that has a confession that he was actually the one that brought the plague to the city to eliminate the poor citizens. We take that to the big announcement booth and play it for all the guards to hear, so they come arrest him, earning the Political Suicide achievement and additionally the Poetic Justice achievement for non-lethally eliminating all of our key targets. We show Dowd who the Master Assassin is, but we leave him alive and escape into the sewers to earn the achievement Mercy is the Mark. We make it back through the sewers with no kills to re-enter the Loyalist base. The Loyalist base is also no problem to navigate because we've become extremely skilled at maneuvering it by now. This time when we reach the top of the lighthouse, we don't have all of the infighting between the Loyalists, but we still do get to rescue Emily. And when we complete the game without killing anyone or being detected, we earn the achievements Clean Hands, Ghost, and Shadow. The non-lethal ending of this game is also much brighter than our original. Our leadership and assistance to Emily brings a golden age to our society, and it's remembered very fondly. And another thing we can remember fondly is obtaining the Just Dark Enough achievement for finishing the game in low chaos. Our next achievement is called Harm's Way. The easiest way I found to do it was to take control of 5 guards and force them to walk into a wall of light and die. But it was a little glitchy and took a couple of tries, but with that out of the way, we only have 1 playthrough left to do to snag our final 4 achievements. So with our specific high and low chaos runs finished, we only have one overarching goal, and that is to beat the game while only using our basic teleport power and none of the other ones. This does make things a little more difficult, but because we can use a mixture of stealth and kills, it isn't too bad. Our first stop is to grab a grenade that had the pin pulled by someone else and throw it back at a guard to earn the achievement Back Home. Our next 2 achievements are much later in the game though. A collectible scattered throughout the world are Sokolov's paintings. We didn't pay much attention to these the first time through, so when we collect them all here, we earn the achievement Art Dealer. Our next achievement is quite sad. We sided with Granny Rags all the way through the game, but unfortunately, at least once we need to side with Slackjaw and kill Granny Rags to earn the achievement Street Conspiracy. It also turns out Granny Rags was a really powerful witch this whole time? Huh. You think you know someone. And finally, when we reach the top of the lighthouse for the final time, we rescue Emily and earn the achievement Mostly Flesh and Steel, and I can officially say we did everything in Dishonored 1's base game. So how did we do? HowLongToBeat.com puts Dishonored 1's 100% at about 37 hours. Now, we took 26, but again, that 37 hours might be counting doing all 3 of the DLCs. But then again, that doesn't really make sense. I don't really know how all of that works, but we took 26 to do just Dishonored 1's base game, and we're working on Dishonored 1's DLC right now. Like I mentioned at the beginning, that'll be a separate video on another day. I finished 2 out of 3 of the DLCs as of recording this, and the one that I have left is the longer, more annoying one. So if you know what that means, you know what that means, I guess. But overall thoughts on this game, it was amazing. I see why so many people have fond memories of this game, and I see why the reviews of it are so high and why people kind of hold it up to that standard that they do still to this day. I cannot wait to finish up Dishonored 1 and get that video up, have the whole video done, ready to go, and I also can't wait to look at Dishonored 2 and then Dishonored Death of the Outsider, or whatever it's called. That the reviews for that are a little bit lower, but you know, it is what it is. I will definitely be checking out both of those at some point in the future because this first game was so awesome. The world was amazing, the characters were great, and you just don't see many like action, stealth, your choices matter games like this anymore. It's a real shame. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you're looking forward to seeing more of the Dishonored videos as well. But if you had any suggestions for games that you wanted to see me check out and 100% on this channel, please feel 100% free to leave a comment down below and tell me to do those things. Also, if I messed anything up with describing this story, you know, we go a little bit fast, so sorry if some of the semantics aren't exactly 100% correct. But in addition to that, feel free to leave your likes and subscriptions as you will. I really appreciate them, but until next time, I'll see you later. See you!